All right, let's dive into one of the most fascinating and complex parts of personal growth, the journey of therapy. We're going to unpack a really strange paradox: why sometimes the biggest thing getting in the way of change isn't the problem itself, but the actual effort to fix it.
And this really is the question at the heart of it all, isn't it? It's a feeling I bet a lot of you have had, not just in therapy, but in life. You know you want something different, you're paying for help, you're showing up, but some part of you just digs in its heels and refuses to budge. So why? Why do we fight the very change we say we want so badly?
Well, this internal battle almost always leads to a super common and, let's be honest, incredibly frustrating place: the therapeutic stalemate. You know the feeling. It's when progress just grinds to a halt. The conversations start to feel like reruns, and you feel like you're just spinning your wheels, completely stuck.
So, what's really going on here? What are these invisible forces at play? Well, on one side, you've got the therapist. They're driven by this really powerful human impulse to help, to connect, to guide you towards a better place. But here's the twist. On the other side, that very drive to help can actually trigger a retreat in the patient. It pushes them right back into those old, painful, but familiar patterns: avoidance, passivity, keeping a distance. You can almost picture it, right? It becomes this emotional tug of war. Even when the therapist has the absolute best intentions, their push for change starts to feel like this outside pressure. The patient feels this pull, and their deepest instinct is just to pull back even harder. Now, it's really important to get this. This isn't just someone being stubborn. It's a deep, deep psychological defense mechanism. See, if you've been hurt in relationships before, you learn a lesson, a painful one. It's safer to just emotionally check out of a new relationship before anyone can get close enough to really help you or to hurt you all over again. It's a cycle.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The stalemate, it's not just a roadblock. It's actually something way more profound. It's an unconscious, incredibly high-stakes exam, the patient's unspoken test. Through all that passivity and resistance, the patient is basically asking the therapist three life-or-death questions. First, there's the test of persistence. Are you going to keep showing up for me, trying to help, even when I'm doing absolutely nothing to help myself? Then comes the test of acceptance. Can you accept me right here, right now, even in this moment where I've totally given up on changing? And finally, the most crucial question of all, the test of intention. Are you really here for me, or are you going to get frustrated, maybe even punish me for not cooperating? Passing a test like this takes way more than just being patient. It actually demands a huge, fundamental inner shift from the therapist. The focus has to turn completely inward. And here's the key. To pass this test, the therapist has to go against every single one of their professional instincts to fix things. Instead, they have to find the courage to just be with the patient in that deeply uncomfortable, messy place of helplessness without trying to rescue them from it. This is the question the therapist has to ask themselves. The whole dynamic flips from "what's wrong with my patient" to "wait a minute, what am I doing that's feeding this stalemate? Is my own need to help actually part of the problem?" It's a moment of incredible self-awareness. And when a therapist can actually navigate that difficult inner journey, it does more than just end the stalemate. It sets the stage for a real, genuine moment of breakthrough. And here's the beautiful paradox at the center of it all. The breakthrough happens the very moment the therapist lets go of the rope in that tug of war. The second they stop asking for change, the patient suddenly has nothing left to fight against. It is a complete, total 180-degree reversal of how things started. Instead of pushing for a different future, the therapist offers radical, unconditional acceptance of the person, exactly as they are in that very moment. By giving up control over the change, the therapist isn't giving up on the patient. No way. They are actually creating a safe harbor, a space where the patient's own internal fire, their own will to fight for themselves, is finally free to come out. So when the therapist passes this unspoken test, everything is transformed. The relationship goes way beyond just a professional service. It becomes something much deeper, a true therapeutic alliance. And this new alliance is built on a totally new foundation. The patient finally feels safe enough to face the things that were once completely unbearable. Both of them now understand that real help isn't about one person fixing another. It's about meeting them right where they are, in their struggle. And from there, together, they can figure out the root of the block and forge this incredibly powerful co-created bond.
And that right there is the ultimate lesson. Real therapy isn't some sterile one-way street. It's a shared transformation. It's only when a therapist allows themselves to be truly tested and changed by the process that they create the kind of sacred ground where a patient can finally, truly begin to heal.
So, we'll leave you with this to think about. What if the real spark for change isn't being pushed or prodded to become someone new? What if it all begins with that incredibly rare and courageous experience of being fully seen and fully accepted exactly as we are?